All right, welcome back. We continue right here on the Allegheny Health Network, Nightly Sports Call. Bob Pompeani and Gene Collier with you. Gene, let's get right to it. We got a lot of people want to talk. Don in Clearfield is first. Hey, Don.
Hey, good evening. I
Hello.
called you guys about 2 weeks ago in reference to having a closer that we could depend on and not allow so many guys to get on base. When are we going to have Rivero do that job and get rid of Watson?
Well, they're not going to get rid of, well, they may get rid of Watson at some point because he has Scott Boras now as an agent and he will be looking for big bucks, although he's hurting his own cause. I just think Clint Hurdle has to look at this realistically and say, I got to make a change. There's no other option here at this point. Daniel Hudson hasn't been good. Quite frankly, their 7-8 guys have been very inconsistent, with the exception of Rivero. Watson is better served there. Rivero's better served as a closer. It looks like to me he has the mental makeup more than anything, Gene. That's what, when I see him pitch, he's not afraid of anything. And it looks like Watson is tiptoeing at times out there.
Yeah, I don't know if Watson was ever really comfortable in that role, as you pointed out, Bob. I think we're all in agreement here. Nicasio can also set up if you don't have confidence in Watson to do even that now. But as I said at the beginning of the show, I'm not sure that Clint Hurdle is there yet.
What's it going to take for him to get there?
Well, I don't know.
I'm there. I've been beyond there.
I know, but unfortunately, we are not managing the club.
Yeah, but look how long it took them to make a move on McCutchen. They really wanted to do it, and they didn't do it. If you're going to do it, do it. What do you?
Bob, I'm not arguing with you.
I know. I'm just asking. Line 4, we got Will in Monroeville. Hey, Will, how you doing?
Gentlemen, how are you this evening?
All right, what's going on?
Hey, listen, I want to also talk about the whole Tony Watson and Clint Hurdle thing. Well, I am in total agreement with you, but I want to run something by you both. Maybe it's not Clint Hurdle's call to make. Maybe that's why he's so frustrated, because he doesn't have the authority he should have to make these calls.
Well,
I think it's coming from above.
From who? Neil Huntington?
Huntington, Coonley.
Or what would be the reason?
I don't know what the reason is. What's the reason why
I think this is all Hurdle
taking so long from third to sixth? I mean, I don't know if this is all Clint.
Well, all right, Will, thanks. I think it is. I think he's the guy who likes the guys in the role they're in, and he's going to give them ample opportunity to fail, and that's exactly what Tony Watson's done, Gene. That's my point.
Yeah, well, if the suggestion is that that Hurdle doesn't have complete autonomy there, I could be persuaded to agree with that. I mean, you know, the front office really hands-on, you know, as a result of all the analytics and such. But I think this is Hurdle's call, this particular one.
All right, we're going out to Indiana, Pennsylvania. We got Bob. Hello, Bob. How are you?
Pretty good, gentlemen. Thanks for taking my call.
Okay.
Hey, one other thing I wanted to bring up is Polanco is looking awful. I don't know what's going on with him, not only in the field but at bat. You know, when they're walking Harrison and get to him, that's saying something. I'm actually right now happy when Jay shows up instead of him, and that's bad because he just looks so awkward up there, like he just swing it. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's an awkward swing, and he's out of sync.
Yeah, I think tonight, I don't think they wanted anything to do with the right-hand hitter. It was strictly that. They wanted to go lefty on lefty in that 7th inning, Gene. But Polanco has been rather inconsistent all year. I don't think there's any doubt. He got slowed with the injury, and he's just not been able to produce any power either.
Yeah, he keeps getting hurt, and he keeps, you know, his short spurts when it looks like he's going to figure some things out, you know, don't become long spurts. And yeah, he's been really disappointing going back to, I guess, July of last year.
Yeah,
right?
he has been. All right, line 3 we go. It's Craig and Jeanette. Craig, welcome to the Allegheny Health Network Nightly Sports Call.
How you doing, Bob and Gene?
Good.
Craig.
They pretty much stole my thunder on Watson, but I just got a question for you. How come the Pirates didn't go make a pitch for Matt Adams? Atlanta got him for a song and dance. I just don't understand how the organization thinks. Thank you.
Yeah, they were desperate because they had lost Freddie Freeman, so they needed somebody. I guess the Pirates never felt they had a need to do that. They have Josh Bell, who they like over there. I don't have a problem with that, Gene, do you? I mean, that was a necessary thing for the Cardinals or the Braves to do. They needed somebody.
Yeah, well, my info is that the Braves got him for a song and dance. The Pirates only offered a song.
A song. I wonder what that song would have been. All right, let's go out to line 2. That's Karen in Finleyville. Hey, Karen, how you doing? Hello, Karen.
Am I on the air?
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay, what I'd like to say is, with Coach Sullivan, why doesn't he give the players a secret vote who they want as the goaltender?
Because it might be Jim Rutherford. Who knows? I mean, no, they're not going to do that. Let's move along. We got Ken in Clearfield. Hey, Ken, how you doing?
Hey, Bob, Gene, how are you guys doing? I love your show.
Thanks.
Hey, the reason I'm calling is, you know me. I call a lot of times. I love the Penguins. I think they're going to win in 6 games. But to go back to the Pirates, why in the world you got a left-hander throwing a 103-mile-an-hour fastball, pitching the eighth inning instead of the 9th inning? That's unbelievable to me. Thank you, guys.
Well, they had him actually get the last out of the 7th inning, which was a necessary out, and he pitched the 8th inning. I was hoping he'd go another inning, actually. We're up there talking, Gene. I said, let him go one more. Why not?
Oh, my God, you can't do that anymore.
No, you can't do anything anymore because it's now out of vogue.
Come on, you can't do that. Your risks, having someone throw 30 pitches instead of 28, we're not going to go down that road, that's for sure.
Isn't that amazing how it's turned? I think of the day of Harvey Haddix, and we talked about this the other day just because it was an anniversary.
Yeah.
But 12 innings.
12 perfect innings. There's Kent DeColby on the screen over there.
Yeah.
He used to come in and pitch 2 and 3
3 innings,
to close.
say, the rubber man. That's what he used to say. If you ever go, I'm sure you have at the media lounge, get to talk to Teak about it. He says, it's unbelievable. He says, he used to come in, and to me, a save was 3 good innings. That's what I had to do, and now it's changed.
3 nights a week.
3 nights a week, right. Let's go to Mike in Pittsburgh. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Hey there, Bob. Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
Thanks.
Quick question for you. Pitt's refusal or lack of concern of letting Cameron Johnson go play in the ACC, I think, is a ridiculous internal decision by Pitt. The new AD, I think she's trying to put her line in the sand. She's picking the wrong kid. This kid is a true All-American. He's a true academic player, and he should be able to, go on with his dreams and play where he wants to play. He fulfilled all of his requirements for Pitt, did so admirably, and now they're trying to go in a different direction, and they should just let the kid go, and I think the AD should concentrate more on trying to get rid of Stallings and get a good coach in there and rebuild the program.
Thanks for the call. I agree with that. The first part about it, I really think Cam Johnson has been a terrific representative of the university. He graduated in 3 years, Gene, high honors. This kid wants to go and do something else. A lot of people have already gone. Kevin Stallings is starting over. He doesn't want to be part of that. He has 2 years of eligibility, and when you're a graduate transfer, in most cases, you just go. You don't have to sit out unless your current university decides, we don't want you to do it. I think it looks petty.
It does. It's mean-spirited. Pitt has no standing on that. I don't understand that at all.
No, I wish they would change. They had a statement released tonight. We'll have it for you at 11 o'clock on KDKA-TV. Let's go to Brad in Duncansville. Hey, Brad.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Gene. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I have a Pirate comment and my Penguin lineup change if I was the coach.
All right.
Okay. My Pirate one is I would put Tony Watson in the setup man and Rivera for closer.
Okay.
And for the lineup, I would have for Game 5 would be Hagelin, Benino, Kessel, Crosby, Sherry, and Rust. The other line would be.
Well, it would have to be.
Huh?
It would have to be Malkin, Gensel, and Kunitz.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think they're going to get back to that. That HBK thing was last year, and it really hasn't worked when they've tried it this year. I hope you're right about this, Brad, Gene, that he could get back in the line. They need Nick Bonino. He's not only a big game player, but he does so many of the things that I think you need out of your third-line center, and gives them the advantage we thought they had coming into the series down the middle. And without him, it's not so much.
Without him there, the bottom 6 don't look too effective.
What would you do up front? Anyway, they brought Archibald in the other night. Would you do anything else?
Well, I thought Archibald played pretty well. I would think about putting Kunitz back with Crosby also.
I would bring in Tom Kuhnackel. I think he's ready to play. He hasn't played in a long time. If you're looking for fresh legs or somebody who can make something happen, try that. Anyway, we're going to go to a break. Rick, Greg, Vince, Smiling Bob, all coming up next right here live on the Bordas and Bordas Hotline of the Sports Call, presented by Allegheny Health Network.